So is that how this works? This one?
Ja, det gäller.
All right, okay. Hi, thank you for introduction and thank you for having me here. This is my first time at Greece, so so excited, but unfortunately I have to leave in like 2 hours time. So amongst all other people, yesterday we arrived like 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then went to dinner, and then this is my first time in Greece, and then I have to see something. So I went outside 6 o'clock in the morning to see the whole city. Obviously, Nike Plus is a kind of big deal for us, and then it's motivating me these days. Everywhere I go, I just show off to my friends just running the town, and it's the best way to see the new places and quickly. The funny thing happened was yesterday I tried to upgrade my iPhone and then messed up, and then as a result I don't have mobile phone in this trip. That gives me a weird adventure in the 6 o'clock in the morning in a town. At the end, I find an amazing place on near the Acropolis. Is Acropolis? That's wrong. There's a rock, and then stand on there and then see the town. That was amazing. So, and also all day not having email and no mobile checking or social network was amazing. So sometimes I think it's I don't need digital at all. But that's not the point. Today I'm gonna talk about opposite, is how amazing digital is. And I think our story is very smaller compared to all other people's, because my background is creative, and I think I see more day to day. But luckily, because we work with global clients and Nike and all these things, see so many things. Most of here today I talk about is actually already happened. It's not future, but it's quite connected to the future. I can't tell you about future about Nike because it's not my company, but I can talk around a little bit because everything is connected. So AKQA Swoosh, this is we are making up. It's not official in AKQA. AKQA is a digital agency, but we kind of have different group within the company, almost untouchable. We do our own things, and it started to 2-3 people. But it's kind of different operation because we, as a brand, Nike is very gut-driven brands. They make their own decision, very instinct, So it's kind of a contradicting, but sometimes important see things with your own common sense. That's kind of very inspirational for us, and then we follow that. So a slightly different kind of operation within the company, and also ADHD quite because digital agency. I think lots of people here maybe share the same things, I don't know, above the line, below the line, all these things, and then we are quite. We never made really TV ad. We made 1 or 2, but from the beginning, our focus is different. But we are very hungry. We are very underdog. So we always trying to make something new because that's where we are allowed to play. So as a result, lots of people in the teams is very obsessed with something you never done. So it's kind of technology, digital is pretty much very optimism for us. Lots of things actually. If you look back, I've been working for Nike and the AKQA for 10 years non-stop. Only reason I can do that is because every year we do different things, and the market changes. And not only me, quite a few people working over 5 years, nearly 10 years. Lots of things maybe it disappears, banners, and many things changes, but it's fine, kind of we jump on the bandwagon, and we try make something out from it. Then as a result, it's connecting to the next thing. That's the kind of beauty of digital. So we've been working for Nike for 13 years. Then now we just opened the Portland office and then Tokyo office. Paris, also working for Nike. Shanghai also working for Nike, but core of the team is based in London, but it's over 200 people dedicated to working for Nike, including technology, client service, strategy, creative, all in one. But so we just, what motivates us, why are we doing this? Characteristic of us, kind of, I've mentioned, but we always trying to go something fast because it's quite interesting, my personal experience as well. I was background as designer, and then crafting is a big deal. But then when it comes to AKQA, innovation is the top everything. And then that doesn't give me a chance to crafting long time, but the power of like something you haven't done, other people haven't done, gives you definitely like a spikes out among the crowd. So we are so obsessed. Sometimes it doesn't look beautiful, but it's actually, wow, why this is, I haven't think about this before. So that's kind of like I get through that process, lots of people get through that process. Also, we are lucky that Nike is having that value. So they kick our ass, like we kick each other, so that kind of relationship now. So that we got some video, it's just showcasing a little bit of history of what we were doing. Thank you. I think this is quite a lot of the case study we have in here is very, very kind of approach, and then I think that we haven't used word KPI, and like I don't really use that in a day-to-day work, but like a brand is always focusing on how to make people move. This is quite, I think it's quite interesting because White and Kennedy definitely started Nike as a brand, and then they put into such a strong place. And then White's word is like, yeah, it doesn't matter whatever you do, make people move emotionally. That was kind of like very consistent message, and we think that's great. And then they do better probably than us. But like the things what changed these days when digital comes in, it's the move becoming actually physically make people move. So the majority of brief we worked on, or like brief or this brief, we make brief by ourselves as well, but like the becoming, we call it activation. It's the how to make people move. Everything is measured by how many people actually either inspired or be helped to move, and then So Nike stands for making good athlete, right? So that's the single-minded objective, everything we do, which is amazing for us because we always have product brief and all these things, but at the end of the day, our center of the all objective, it's all the same, make people move. As a result, you make more associated product. That's kind of like how Nike operate. And then if you see the recent our work, for example, this one in Tokyo, we made some kind of like a retail, it's like an exhibition space almost, but like it's like a arcade game. Japan is big in arcade games, but like this is more like a physical movement arcade game. So it's just a coincide with Nike Fuel Band launch globally. This, for example, this one is on an LED screen on the floor, and then you play Pong basically with your movement, and then you wear Fuel Band, and then we created a scanner that you just scan it, and you can count how much fuel you burned while you're doing the competition. But we made other couple of more, like you run on a treadmill, you're drawing your own bodies with the all scanned body, and all these things. So like this is kind of more inspirational, but like make people think and make people move. Other example of this one is in London, using Kinect, basically the tracking your movement, and then obviously Fuel Band is kind of like color coded, and if you move more, you're moving into the green zone. So we took that insight, and then you move in front of this massive mirror, and you see your body moving in dark room, and then where your body movement is more active, it's become more green, and then you take out that to the sharing social network and things like that. But intention was making even retail space, we trying to make people move, and then it's not just seeing product. That was the kind of intention. Kinect training, it was obvious one, but like, when it comes to this level, we get even more excited because it's a product. When it comes to big data and all these things, obvious connection, because Kinect track everything, right? Basically, how much it's more than professional coach, where your elbow is, how hard you're pushing your push-up, all these things are tracked, and then you can give the response based on what we see, what we captured. This was another interesting thing about this product is like a massive collaboration with Microsoft and Nike, and then we led this project, and it's like 2 years, some team worked on this, 2 years, no portfolio, just doing this for 2 years. That's kind of like this is how product works. This is quite eye-opening for us as well, but the result was amazing. More experimental, this is recently we done in Japan, called Run Track. So we know that people run with music when you run. And the music and running is very, very close connection. So what if we have a data from Nike Plus, how you run, weather condition, pace, what else, your up and down, and all these things. So we created music based on your data. So we contracted with 8 artists, and each artist created almost 800 of sound file each, and then we use that to dynamically create music based on your running. So these things excite us, definitely. It's kind of like make people move and giving the kind of like a new experience how to move, because running is always the same since started here. But things can change because adding technology or new things, then keep people more moving, right? But recently, I think more we are moving towards to these things, so we feel like a really rewarding when we have point of view, and Nike always has point of view, attitude, just do it, all these things. And then that is quite important, that like having why we're doing this, what does it mean to you, because we can tell you run, but who cares? So like when we have a very strong point of view, especially rooted to the local market, local insight, that point of view potentially really strong, and that insight can create product. Also, motivating real people, so it's actually is making like a connection with the real people rather than messaging. That's the kind of things we are very obsessed with these days. So some example. This is Nike Women's global things we've been doing. So the insight was everybody, every girls at the time are really into how you look. And then Reebok making toning shoes, which is, the heel is curved. So you can just walk around in the office and then the advertising pictures, like beautiful bodies, it worked actually. And then also Marks Spencer and all brands start following. I think Nike's sales dropped massively. So we had a meeting in Portland and okay, what we're gonna do? We were thinking, joking, maybe we should make even more aggressive toning shoes and people can't walk and the wobbly, But why are we doing this? We just step back and think about it. If the brand is standing for to make you physically fit and then actually that experience could bring you to the next activity, we should go find what we stand for and then we should stay true to what we believe. That exercise becoming our line. This is like AKQA, it's like come up with, but like make yourself. So instead of faking yourself, you should make yourself. You can make yourself if you work towards it. That was the message. That was kind of like a point of view. But when that point of view, how we're going to support digitally, was the Nike Training Club. So here's a tool to make yourself. You can, and then we just helping them. That's the kind of like, I think it's very interesting things. Now advertising is not as what we see before. It's all of a sudden, it's become a product or service. Interesting thing about this Nike Training Club now, it's like 3 years since launch. We are still, lots of things going on around this product, but 10 million download compared to Fuel Band or Nike Plus, if you know, there's no TV ad, there's no massive campaign. But product was very true to the consumer behavior inside. People train in a gym with music with your phone. So how we can make the best experience around that. And also the gym is expensive. Lots of people want to do very private space and then time they have. And then we created this product. Result was 10 million download, and then average people spend 20 minutes on a workout. So when you think about it, this is like compared to the single TV ad, it's probably 10% of the budget, no media cost, but it's actually 20 minutes of engagement with brand, and then not just think about this brand, they actually work out with this brand, which is kind of like a exciting territory. Also, something we thought is really interesting thing is we work with the Nike's trainer. They have like lots of knowledge and then trainers in a company, and then there is a truth that if you don't work out 30 minutes and then certain level of intensity, it doesn't give you any value. Even you work out maybe 10 minutes, I feel like I've done something, but you don't see the result. So why are we doing that? So immediate thinking was we were scared actually, if you make this 15 minutes, 30 minutes workout with certain intensity, why people, lots of people are wearing toning shoes, all of a sudden jump to this hard training, how really we can get it? But again, this is about like okay, what we stand for, like we just true to what it should be. Then I've tried it, and then I'm an old man, but like I couldn't really cope with 30 minutes of workout. But when you put in a market, people really loved it because of the intensity. After lots of like social network, Twitter, they're talking about how hard this program is, and then that's created another wave of the engagement. So that's kind of like a big learning for us. Then this happens like last year, actually this year. Both competitor, the product scientifically proved that it doesn't work, and then both sued that product is gone from market. So if I'm working for Reebok, probably I'm doing the toning shoe. It's not my decision. I will work for it. Probably I use my brain to make that work. But yeah, it was lucky that we were standing on the other side. But it's again, it's big learning. Why are we doing this? That is like as everyone to think about. Another example is the football. So during Euros in Poland and Ukraine, we know this is a big tactical moment for the footballers and the campaigns. But like we had this insight, all our target audience is obsessed in the football, and their single dream is, I want to be a pro football player. I don't know how. Maybe they don't believe it because but there's so much opportunities missing for many people. So instead of focusing on, again, exposure in Euro, we made a different approach, put the kids footballer in the center of the campaign, and then we named it My Time Is Now. But this is just line, but we made a mechanic for the footballer to get surfaced, which is the chance. This is twice we done that now, but like we coming more because it's become kind of franchise, and then people remember when is the chance coming, the next one. The result is amazing thing about this was obviously Nike has so much athlete and then head coach like Arsene Wenger and then Guardiola and these people, how we can use best, like they do football better than acting, right? And then so they're gonna find most talented people, footballer in the world, and then all local market helped all local markets, athlete and the coaches to find the next talent, and then we promised that we will help you to get professional, and then result of that, we actually created 19 professional footballer around the world, which is sometimes it's the 20 million reach versus 19 dream come true, which is well, that's kind of another things we start, wow, this is so rewarding. Interesting, another things on that chance is almost like a recruitment, right? So we find the people, talented people, and give them a chance. And then to actually making the professional contract, we created a football team called Nike Academy, based in the UK. But the all internationally chosen best talented player was coached for a year-long program. And we created social football club to promote this activity, and then even more giving inspiration to other kids who had the same dream. Funny thing, what happened with that was the Premier League in England is massive football fans. You put the social network audience in each club, and Nike Academy is sit in the middle of this. Like now it's getting higher. Next year maybe we're going to aim at the Champions League, that kind of level. So like amazing, it doesn't need to be Manchester United, Man City, the big team to be inspiration. There is something like your level's communication can be really inspirational. So this guy is one of the most iconic guy from the whole we've done. So the Tom Logic, the Australian guy, he came to the chance and then found, and then moved to academy, and then get pro contract, and then Australian national team picked him up. And then this last year, he got Celtic contract. So this is a kind of like a really interesting. So there is some film, just probably better than I talking, just captured how that was, how it worked.
In the brutal world of pro football, if you're 16 and not signed to a club, you're finished. The game out of reach, talent wasted, dreams broken. Instead of making more advertising, we created a way for Nike Football to hack the system and give these young players another shot. We called it the chance. Wave after wave of young players grabbed their lifeline. $150,000 spanning 5 continents and 55 countries, with Facebook as their common language. Those with the biggest support and the strongest resolve were scouted by the football elite. The best and hungriest were rewarded with one of 100 places in the chance final, played over 5 days on the pitches of La Masia, the hallowed home of FC Barcelona. Relentlessly pushed by professional coaches, their mental and physical ability at the limit, the finalists prepared for the game of their lives, to be broadcast live by Nike Football and Barca TV, and witnessed by a global audience of millions. As the world watched, they played for their professional lives. 16 players rose from obscurity that day into a football world that was changed forever, because now every young player knows there is always the chance.
So the last three, maybe I just quickly touch on the big data. So we don't do big data at AKQA. We work with someone, and as well as a client, but we have vision. But what we really see is that as mentioned, we started getting into lots of service product. That is kind of like a really exciting territory of marketing. And so we do lots of product making for Nike, for example, and Nike has its own, like Fuel Band, Nike Plus, Connected Training, NTC. All these things get data. So now what we're really focusing on is like how are we going to improve these people's performance, and then how we can help them. So we set the goal, and how we tracking those things, so that's technology required. So some could be the tracking your movement, some could be tracking your heart rate, many different tracking. Those are technology part. That gives us a data, and then that's make possible creating the meaningful product. But the thing is, we don't really go for, let's just get the data, because, hi.
There you go, you're next.
Yeah. Then once we get the product, because so many products, we start making kind of ecosystem, how all different components works together. That's becoming a very, very important part of what we do these days. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.